Hi, friends. We wanted to give you an introduction today to one of the biggest things that we're preparing for as we get ready for the fall program season starting here on August 23rd. Specifically, you will see that we are changing the timing of the different parts of our Sunday morning sequencing. So, Adult Sunday School will begin at 9, worship will begin at 10, Children and Youth Sunday School will be beginning at 11. Now, one of the big reasons we are doing this is because starting on the 23rd, we will be changing the way that we are recording our worship services. You'll remember that as we began the pandemic version of worship that we were recording here in the sanctuary, that final sanctuary service was on Easter. Since then, we've been recording sermons and liturgy and even music from home and mixing those services together with software at our houses and uploading those to YouTube to watch anytime that you want. Starting on the 23rd, we will be premiering those services at 10 o'clock on Facebook and on YouTube, which means that they won't be available before 10 o'clock, and that at 10 o'clock, we can gather together as a community and watch it all at the same time and even use the chat functions of those platforms so that we can interact with one another as we're watching. They will be available after the fact in a recorded form if you'd like to watch them later or watch them again. But in order to do that, we had to change some of the technology that we have here in the sanctuary. Some of it is going to look very similar. Right, and actually what's in the sanctuary itself is not going to be all that different. The camera that's up mounted by the narthex doors, that's going to be in the same location. The soundboard that I'm sitting at here will not change at all. We'll still have someone sitting in this seat doing exactly what they were doing before, but the big difference is going to be what's happening in the sacristy right behind me. Previously, that was just where pastors kept their robes and where we would meet with a liturgist and sometimes pray before services. Now we have a little bit more of a operation going back there. And in order to introduce you to the new technology that we're going to be incorporating, DeWayne, our director of music, is going to introduce you to the hardware that has recently been installed. DeWayne has been terrific in preparing all of the planning, getting all of the parts ordered, and then coordinating them as they've been installed. And it has been a really wonderful partner in making all of that happen. Just to be clear, we will be recording our parts. Katie and I will be recording our parts here in the sanctuary beginning on the 23rd. And then whenever it is that we return to in-person worship, we don't know when that's going to be, but whenever we do return to in-person worship, we are going to be worshiping at 10 o'clock in order that we can have as many people together as we can, knowing that we are going to have folks who don't feel comfortable or who are not able to make it to in-person worship when we reopen. We know it is critical that we allow everyone to have access to the worship service in some way, shape, or form. And so that's why when we come back to in-person worship, the entire service from start to finish will be available streaming live at the same time that everyone is in this room worshiping. So in order to prepare for that, we have gotten going on the installation of some new technology, and I'm going to let DeWayne explain that to you now.
Well, welcome to a different type of reflections from me. Thought we'd show you, and I started to call it a new toy, but it's not a toy at all. What you're looking at is our newest setup that's going to help us move into the live streaming territory sometime in the near future, hopefully within the next couple of months. This is the equipment that we got from a company by the name of Spectaveris, owned by a man named Dean Stone, and I must tell you, they're very church friendly. But he gave us a really good setup. Out in the entranceway, there is a camera installed that sort of looks like a small R2-D2, if you're familiar with that. And it gives us a lot of capability. And if I can do this correctly, if I can get my little stuff here, if Owen and Katie were walking in, and I'm learning that I can go too fast on this thing, and it absolutely makes me dizzy. But if they were walking in, you can follow them down. This thing actually has a range of motion that's a full 360. And then when they get to the front, we'll follow them as they get there. And there we are. All right? We can go as far left or right as we want to go. It will go all the way back around to where it's looking out in the narthex, if that makes any sense. This little unit over here gives us a series of preset positions. If I do that one, and it does it pretty quickly. There's a way to make it go slower, and I haven't figured that out yet. If we want to center on, say, the communion table, during communion table, we can do that. And then if we wanted to go even further towards it, again, see, there you are, you're watching me learn. And move it around. And then over here, we got a thing that allows us to zoom in and make it, if we want to get further on faces, we can do that. The left-hand screen that you see over here primarily has to do with the audio and the mixing. And once we get this thing figured out, our live streaming will be exactly that. We'll have someone back here running this during our services on Sunday morning, and it will be on air. It will be live. I think we're going to see some benefits out of this that we didn't really imagine or know. We started doing some of this recording stuff out of necessity, and we have moved to where we are now. And instead of necessity, I think what we're going to find is that we're going to have some very, very good benefits that were unexpected, but much appreciated. We'll try to give you another lesson on this thing as we get better at it. See you next time.